Well, good morning and welcome to another video. And you'll probably be able to see I'm not in the forest this time. I've ventured out to a new location. Now, I came across this location last week. I was down at Pit Lake because that's now open, and I just had a good walk about and seen what wildlife was down there. Now, I noticed that there was a side road, so I was intrigued, so I drove up this side road, and it's a bit of like marshland. It's got this little stretch of water here, and it's got these lovely green grasses, and I thought I'll come back down and see if there's a photograph. Now, I came here through the week after work, and I thought I wanted to see what it was like at sunset, but it was a bit windy and there wasn't really anything going on in the sky. We did have the low cloud that was forecasted, but it didn't catch any colour. It just literally got dark. So I've came back this morning, and we always get fog and mist in this area in the morning, and I wanted to see if I could get an image. Now, up at the lake's really nice, but the problem you have up at the lake is there's no foreground interest, and you've got these poles sticking out the water, so you've literally just got the water and then the mountains. It really is picturesque, but not really for the photograph. But I noticed in this area, I seen these grasses and the reeds, and it looks really nice. You get the mist rolling in the morning, the fog, and I just thought, you know what, I think there's an image here. Now, there's a pathway that runs along like a dike. Now, the view's amazing. You've got the camera up on the tripod, it's an amazing view, but the problem you have is it looks flat. It's as amazing as it is, it looks flat. The image looks flat. You've still got your foreground and your mid-ground and your background with the mountains there. But the problem you have is it doesn't have any depth. So what I wanted to show you this morning is I've put the 24mm lens on. I wanted to show how you can create that depth with the wide angle lens. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to use these grasses as foreground interest, and then you're going to have this stretch of water with the reeds sticking out, and you're just going to have the mountains in the background. So I'm going to be quite close to the foreground. That's one key with a wide angle lens. Like I said, with the waterfalls, get up close and accentuate the foreground that you're photographing, and the image totally changes simply by just coming down this bank to the water's edge. I wondered what that was there, it was the duck. To the water's edge, and use these grasses and reeds to give your image depth. The more layers you can create in your image, the more depth it's going to give it. Now, it's sunrise in about 10-15 minutes, so I'm going to get back to camera and take some shots. The area I'm taking the photographs particularly messy. It's where people have been standing because you get a lot of fishermen here. So I'm going to have to try and cut out some of that mud and dirt and footprints and use these grasses to the best of my ability. Now, the one thing I did find is you've got a mountain to the right hand side, and it's particularly large in the frame, and the problem there is it unbalances the image. So what I'm going to do is introduce a large proportion of these grasses here to the left hand side. I've got a bunch of grasses in the centre of the frame, and then I'll just have a little bit of that mountain to the right hand side, and that balances out the shot. So that's always key when you're taking a shot. If you do have a large mountain to either side here, try and balance it out with something else. So using a portion of these grasses in the frame is going to sort that problem out for you. So I'm going to get back to camera before this sun comes up. We're getting this lovely fog and this mist rolling in over the water as the sun's getting higher, and we'll see if we can grab an image. But it's a lovely location. Now, I have got to be aware here because there's a lot of bears in this location. When I showed you in the last video where the bear was going across the field, this was the location it was actually coming to. Now, there's a lot of grasses and you can't really see, so every now and again I have a look about or I make a noise just to make sure that the bears hear me before I see them. So anyways, let's see how this image works out, and I'll take images as the light gets brighter. I've took the images just before sunrise there, so it'd be nice to see how they work out. But I want to wait and see how the mountains, how the background changes when we get some of that morning light on the mountains, because that's going to create a bit more depth again, because you're going to see the layers in between the mountains as the light comes in. But it's a beautiful morning and it's an absolute great location. It's nice to think that no one's took this image before, because it isn't a location that people really come to walk. People just seem to come here to fish. There's a good chance that no one else has took this composition that I've took. Now you go up to the lake's really nice, but like I said earlier, you've got no foreground interest. You've just got the lake, which is vast, and then you've got the mountains in the background. Now I went down there last week, like I said, for a walk, and seen a bit of wildlife down there, and it was really beautiful. Now I came across the osprey. I don't know if you remember in a previous video that I showed you the osprey in the tree, and I managed to get some video and photograph it. Now I came across the nest, and it was amazing, because you go down to Pit Lake and it's like a long dike, and then you've got the lake in front of you, but there's actually a viewing platform. So I went up onto this viewing platform and I was scouting the area, and I came across the osprey's nest on top of this like bit of a post, and I was videoing them. I had the longer lens on and got in as close as I could, and you could actually see the chick in the nest. It was amazing to see. And then the other osprey came in with a fish and landed on the nest. Now what happened after that was there was a heron actually came in from the left hand side. I'll put some video up for you. Came in from the left hand side to attack the nest, because herons, they'll attack anything. You know, I've seen them take young ducklings before. Yeah, it's quite amazing to see. But it didn't stand a chance against this osprey. You know, he had both birds sitting in the nest, and one hopped down to protect the chick, and the other took chase of this heron, and it was making quite a racket. But really was amazing to see. It's a shame we haven't got any cloud and any detail in the sky, but it still works because we've got this mist and fog. Now I shot the image at f16 because I'm about 3 foot away off the grasses, and I wanted to make sure that I got everything in focus. I put the polarizer on, but because we haven't got any cloud in the sky and it is starting to turn blue, I only used it ever so slightly, because if you overuse the polarizer on like a blank sky, you're going to introduce dark patches to your sky. I've got away with a longer shutter speed. We haven't got any breeze, ever so slightly, so I've been taking it between 1 and 2 seconds, and that seems to be working out fine. So I'm going to carry on, and we'll see what this light does in the background and see how it affects the mountains, see if we get any of that morning glow on the mountains. There is quite a lot of haze there, but using the polar slightly is going to help get rid of some of that haze. Now as I've been standing waiting, I've just been watching the light and watching this weather front and see how the scene changes. we've actually got this cloud that's came in. Now the cloud's heading towards the mountains and the formation is absolutely amazing. You'll be able to see it's just like a leading line over to the mountains in the distance there, and we've got the reflection in the water. So what I've done is I've actually altered my composition. I've actually raised it to include a bit more of this sky, and it actually fills the full image. Now the area that I've focused is on the left hand side of the frame, about a third into the shot on those reeds, and at f16 that's getting everything sharp from front to back. Now every now and again we are getting a breeze, but the fact that I've been able to increase my shutter speed, it's counteracting that, so it seems to be working out. The gaps that I had in the scene, like in between the reeds, it's got this reflection of the cloud formation in. Now the big part of the sky that I had in the right hand side of the shot towards the back mountains, it's actually, I've put it right in that gap. So when you look at the image, there's so much interest. You can look round it and you've got the cloud, you've got the water with the grasses and the mountains in the background. And I'm really pleased, you know. I'm just going to keep taking shots as this cloud moves forward, and then when I get back home I'll have a look and choose which one I like, but I'm totally pleased with it. It's like a gift, you know. I've never seen a cloud formation like that, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how it looks when I get back home. So the sunlight's more or less up now, and we've got the light in the background, and I tried out some images just as we got this cloud in. It was lovely, you know, it's lovely cloud above the mountains there, and it added a lot more body and depth to the image. It'd have been nice to have that cloud earlier on and it would have caught all that morning light, but it still made for a lovely image this morning. Even though we didn't have that cloud in the sky, we still had the colour from the sunrise just glowing up behind the mountains there. The added interest in the skies helped hold the image together, and that's what today was about. It was about showing you how to add layers and depth to the image using a wide angle lens. Now if I took it with the tripod up high and shot straight at the scene, yeah, you would have had the grasses in the foreground and this stretch of water and the mountains behind, but the image would be flat. So that's always a tip. With a wide angle lens, get low down, close to your subject, and create that depth in the image for the viewer's eye to take a journey through to the mountains in the background. So I'm going to have a slow walk around this area before I head back to Vancouver, but I've had a brilliant morning. It's been lovely and peaceful, and it's been great having you guys along. So if you've enjoyed the content of today's video, please subscribe, it's much appreciated. Hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and you're going to know when I'm uploading new videos. And leave a comment below. I love reading through your comments, and for everyone that comments, you know, it's much appreciated. It gives me a bit of input to what people think of my video and think of my images. And I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the morning. So until next time, thanks for watching. Bye bye.